Good evening, televiewers. You're welcome to this other edition of Prime Hour on My Media Prime. The first for the week, we are this day going to be looking at the contributions of Anglophone intellectuals and elites as far as touch bearing for their communities is concerned. We are going to ask ourselves whether they are doing so well to validly represent the interests of their communities. Are they worthy ambassadors from their respective villages, communities, divisions, and regions? We also are going to be looking at the situation of IDPs as they live across all other 8 regions of Cameroon following the ongoing Anglophone crisis. We are going to be discussing this with panelists who already are seated in the house. Dr. Nick Ngwanyam is in the house. I want to refer to him this evening as an Anglophone elite. Good evening and welcome.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Very exciting topic for tonight. Thanks.
Yeah. Also with us this evening is Ba Akwen, who is Nadia, who is one of the vice presidents of the PCRN movement. We're glad to have you. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Com. Good evening to my co-panelist, Dr. Nick. Good evening to all the televiewers of My Media Prime and Prime R. I want to salute the president who celebrated his 88th birthday. And I want to, get this in touch with the recent outing of the SDF chairman, Nijon, who went out on media and said he will be going out for a political retirement. To me, it's a strong message that other political leaders are supposed to emulate and see that they are supposed to let the youth who are out there to bring out what they have, because I tell you, the youth are the ones who have the Cameroon of tomorrow, and they have a lot to do and they have a lot to offer. So I think that other political leaders should emulate this attitude of the chairman of the SDF to be able to go on retirement and let space for the youth who are uprising like me, who is a young politician who aspires to leave footprints on the sands of time. Thank you.
Okay, we are also welcoming in the studio Mr. Amungwa, who is a municipal councillor from Bomenda, Tuba, Bomenda 5 precisely. He's in the studio with us, Mr. Mungwa, all the way from Bomenda. We're glad to have you once again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kum. It's my pleasure being back in the studio with you, with my co-panelists, Dr. Nick Ryan, and our famous
Representative
of PCRN.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually delighted to be here once more, and I wish to extend a happy and pleasant beginning of the week with all fellow Cameroonians, televiewers, telespectators, and equally extending birthday wishes also to His Excellency President Pobia for clocking 88. They say age with wisdom, Mr. President, the wise man of Africa, and also to throw more glance, as my co-panelist just said, the announcement of the resignation of his eminent chairman, Fondi, of the SDF party is equally.
He says he's not going to stand. He has not yet resigned, eh?
Oh yeah, but of course, when he denounced it,
Political retirement,
the switch will follow. So
okay,
you're not doubting.
Okay, we also are expecting to touch base with Madame Bibiana Mbi Dirambon, who should be on standby in Yaoundé. Good evening, Madame Bibiana. Welcome. Seemingly, Madame Bibiana is not yet ready. It's not the connection is not yet there. We are also expecting Barrister Ashu Emmanuel, the national president of the Reform Party, to be joining us in the course of our discussions. I will start with you, Dr. Nick Ngwanya. We're talking about Anglophone elites and intellectuals as torchbearers for their communities. Who is an elite for Anglophones? Who is an intellectual?
What am I going to say? An elite? An elite, I would describe an elite as someone who is supposed to be enlightened, who knows what is right, who knows what is wrong, and who has the capacity to solve problems, and who can contribute to improving on the welfare of the people in his community and as the community at large. And when you say elite, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean only people who have gone to school. You know, people who have wisdom, who are supposed to have wisdom, and who have shown some leadership qualities, yeah, they will fall in that category. And then I think another word that you were looking at was intellectual. Who is an intellectual? We would say someone who has some knowledge in some areas, some in-depth knowledge in some areas, and more often than not, 80% of them would have gone to school, so to speak, and you would expect that they will be functioning at a certain level to move the community forward. And you are asking me the question as to whether they have been living up to expectation or not. And if you wanted me to answer, I would say that since you cannot have 100% of everything, I would say that might be we can have 20% of elites or intellectuals who are actually living up to this definition, who are actually helping, but 80% are not.
80% are not living up to expectations. You have the same feeling that those that are called elites, elites and intellectuals from the Anglophone regions, 20% of them are living up to expectations, and a whooping 80% are disappointing.
Yes, Mr. Kum, I will not go back to the definition of Dr. Nick because he rightly stated who they are and what they represent. But the truth is, most of our elites in the Southwest and Northwest regions are not really up to expectations because they have become so politicized that they forget the interests of the people, because these people are meant, you know, to bring out the plight of the people. They are there like a bridge to be able to hear the plight of their people because they are more closer to the population. So these elites that are being elected or nominated, or we can say traditional elites too, who are two people that are enlightened in a sphere that I may say, are supposed to, you know, work hand in hand with their population and bring out resolutions that will be able to help their population or develop their localities. But the truth is, you know, most of these elites are not out to develop their localities. They are there for their personal interests and what might fill their bellies. That's the truth. So I concur with the idea of Dr. Nick tonight.
Let me ask you this question, Mr. Mungwa. I want us to contextualize who an elite is. In the case of the Northwest and Southwest region, is it because you are into politics that automatically you become an elite?
No. Differ with that, you must not necessarily be into politics in order to be an elite. An elite is someone who possesses certain characteristics, who be professional, economic, social wise, and full of wisdom. That's what makes an elite. An elite is someone whose impact is supposed to be felt in his or her community, mostly in the, what we call a motherland. He should be able to identify problems which are reckoning within his community, within his municipality, and able to impact the economic, social, financial factors for that community to grow, to move forward.
Do we have the impression that the concept is misconstrued in our case? Because anytime they talk of the elites of the region to come together, mostly those we see are the political class.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Doctor, for letting me proceed. What I say most you find are the political class. I want to think that most elites probably they have this
they lack the willingness and the ability and commitment in order to portray the feelings, because so many of those you find the political class, well, they have the aspirations. Might be first and foremost, what's politics all about? In a simple and larger balance, politics is all about development.
Yeah, but my question is, do we have a different mindset? Because we have very key persons in our communities, but when they say elites should gather, it's mostly the political class that we see.
That's right. Yeah, let's get some clarity on this. And for us to clearly understand, I would always continue to go back to that diagram that I have come to understand of late, which clarifies things, where we are saying that the community has got components. Remember, we talked about the political component, we talked about the economic component, we talked about the development, and then we talked about the education. It doesn't matter. That's where
we have religion, we have tradition.
Yes, they all fit in there. Now, so when we are talking about elites, they're supposed to come from all these groups. But for some odd reason, our elites have become defined by politics. You have been appointed, so you are an elite. You know, it becomes, and then because people appointed are from some particular party, you would tend to see that elites, when they say elites should show up in this area, they have the same colors. You know, if you are not appointed, if you have not been an ancien ministre, ancien dieu or something, you are not an elite. An elite seems to be someone who eats and dines with the president. Are you getting me? Someone if you are not close to the president, you are not considered an elite. That is a wrong way of looking at it, and it has all been completely misconstrued. And you know, we've been talking politics, and you know, we have this question. Probably you will still give me the opportunity to explain. The whole afternoon I was meditating to find out why they behave the way they do.
Okay. Yeah. Now, yes.
You know, when we talk of elites, we talk of, you know, people that have something to offer, people that are really active. You know, in our communities today, we have mothers who like head some local associations. They are elites too. But the problematic with the fact that most elites from our communities are political entities, it is because, you know, most of these elites that are not engaged into politics, at one point, they get involved into politics to preserve some interest. So I think that is why, you know, whenever a meeting of elites of a place is being you know, summoned, most of them are from a political place, because they are there to preserve some of their, you know, because being an elite is not something like you just get up in the morning and you're an elite. You might be doing something that is beneficial to your community, and most of them are like, you know, how can I say, rich people. To an extent, they have the ability to help, you know, create some centers or do some kind of humanitarian works in their community. So they call them elites. At one point, they join politics because they want to preserve their interests. So I think that most of them come into politics and are always political entities because they join politics to preserve what they have. So I think that's the reason why most of them are into politics and are always political leaders.
Now, I want us all to look at how well our elites have helped to help their respective communities. You are an elite. You've seen what you guys are doing. Are you very satisfied with the job that is being done? Are you serving your communities?
To be able to answer this question, I would like to deal with the first part of the question, where I said where we should, because I took time off to meditate and find out why the elites behave the way they do. They are very evasive, and they're like fish in water. You can't grab them. They are always very, very sneaky in their behaviors, and I think there is some reason to it. Number one, we have seen that many of our elites are politically inclined. Number two, you know, you find out how did they get into politics. And how did they climb up the ladder? And you would see that if you look into the backgrounds of many of them, they will come from the pool of teachers or something, and they have been teachers or something from the educational sector. because that holds many enlightened people. And then they would go into politics. But this is what, when you step back again and look at what is happening in education, you would see that most of our education, people just go and study these subjects. You know, you can have a, you have a first degree in history, you have a second degree in history, a PhD in history, another one has in philosophy, and so on. And so you have a lot of these people in these boxes, and they don't, and many of them who have left our universities don't have a capacity to create jobs for themselves. And or even if they are teachers, there are so many teachers with masters and all those degrees that not all of them can be appointed principals and so on. So there's always this infighting amongst these groups of people. So when one of them, so one or two of them or a couple of them succeed to sing a political song to the extent that they are handpicked out of the group, that's because that's what happens. You sing and then you show your loyalty, you worship, and then you are picked, and then you are projected, you know. And then once you are projected, you become this lord and king. And you know, the crab mentality comes in. You don't want anybody again to ever come to where you are. So they begin to kick the others back and so on, blackmail and run other people down so that they stay at the top. Because at that time now, you know, the politics becomes like a job. The politics, they don't go into politics really to help the people. It is first to help themselves. Then the politics is more of a job. You are a teacher earning 150,000 or 200,000 francs. When you become something, probably you are earning 700,000 francs or 1 million plus some other advantages or so on. And then people bow when you are passing by and so on. And so there's that aura with it. And there are so many other people with a master's degree in this who can knock you off that place. So you spend time now fighting with them and so on. And the little you get, of course, cannot go around to solve everybody's problem. So you go into this rat race where you are trying to not fall from glory and then keep the other people who are down there trying to come up the ladder. You want to keep them there as possible, and blackmail and lies telling becomes the order of the day.
Mr. Mungwa, you are a political elite. You're a municipal councillor now from the Northwest region. How well are you representing the people? You think that you people are not doing exactly what Dr. Nick is saying?
No.
You're there to fill your pocket.
Sorry, I differ with that ideology. I want to personalize it here first. I'm sitting here in several capacities. As an economic operator, a politician, as councillor, first and secondly, and equally as an elite of my constituency, that's Mezam 5. And let me make it very clear here, I'm not those who beat around the bush or want, I didn't join politics because, or I'm not an aspiring politician because I want to fill my pocket. No, I am out to make sure I meet up with the demands. I impact my community. First, as an economic operator, my first job is to make sure I create job and fight on employment rate at all levels, being at local, at national levels and beyond, when international. And we're coming back in our party lines, when we start recently in December, in a political meeting which was chaired by Minister Felix Mbayo. But we may say this, he gave the room not only to certain categories, he went further and gave a room for mayors, elites in that community or municipality where we belong. That meaning he is giving the room and chance for everyone to come and present what he thinks or deems necessary.
No, my question is what you are already doing. It's not, I'm not asking you whether you are giving room to express yourself. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Can the people from Mezam 5 say that they have worthy elites who are working tirelessly to better their situation? Are they living very well?
No, you can verify. You are a journalist and you are highly solicited. This is not something beating the bush. We're talking about Mezam 5 municipality where I come from. I will tell you again here, which I did mention the last time I was in the studio here, that when we took over office, this is just 1 year. That was March last year. I and my mayor, we were able to dig 3 head roads of 5 kilometers each. That's within.
You're talking about your council.
Of course, we're talking about the impactment, about the development.
You're talking about you're giving a balance sheet of. I'm talking about elites.
Yes, you're
from elites from Tuba. Yes, generally. Yes, across party lines.
Yes, across party lines. The truth is that many of our elites are shy, irrespective of the fact that we come from different backgrounds. Many of us are shy, and we have the talent, we have the input, we have what we can impact in our community. But now, how do you go around to possess it? You have the talent if you cannot possess or express or bring forth what you have as talent.
May I just interject a little bit? A moment ago, I and Madame Akwen, we agreed that 80% of our elites are not worth their salt. Give your own rating of elites in general. We are not talking about your small elite in your small man.
Okay,
give a broad this thing.
Yeah,
it's not about you.
Well, that's your rating.
Give your own.
Yeah, that's your rating.
Give your own.
Yeah, thank you. I would say 60. I would say 60%.
Okay. What, positive or negative?
No, negative.
Okay.
No, yeah, negative.
All right.
Good.
Yes, okay. Yes.
2 types of elites. Elites that become elites because of what they do, and others because of what they represent traditionally. It means our traditional institutions. When we talk of an elite, it is someone that, creates an impact in the lives of his local community. When we look at the sphere in Cameroon and the elite and what they represent or what they do, we find out that it is totally negative. An elite is like a mirror. When we talk of a torchbearer, it's someone that throws light. It's someone that represents his people. He's like the champion of his village. So I tell you, Mr. Com, with the political sphere and the way politicians or elites have gotten involved into politics, they create little or no impact. And I tell you, Mr. Com, there are most of the problems our communities face. Let's take, for example, Atanganji. He's an elite from the Northwest region. He was one of the reasons why the Northwest and Southwest crisis came to, to an explosion because of what he says. That is why I tell you, an elite is supposed to impact in the lives of his people. How? Positively, by what you say, by what you do, by what you represent, and by your actions. What Atanganji said created so much disaster in the Northwest and Southwest region. So I tell you, most of our elites in these regions are worth nothing. They do nothing to me. They are most of the problems we encounter. I prefer that we applaud our local elites, our traditional elites, who are not even educated, because there are some elites, when we talk of an elite, it is someone who is educated, but an elite can still be someone who is not educated. Like in our villages, we have elites that are not educated, like members of the, of a chiefdom or of a chief, you understand? They are not educated, but they represent a lot. They fight for their people. They have the interest of their people. But our educated elites do not fight for our people. They do not have the interest of their local communities at heart. And most of them are gotten involved into politics because they want to eat fat from politics. There are 2 types of people. Those that get into politics because they want to eat. I tell you, Mr. Com, there are some that says politics will eat your money, and others say you have gotten into politics to feed your belly. Those that get into politics to feed their bellies are those elites that are educated, those scholars, those educated ones, those torchbearers. They are not worth it. So I think that our communities should, put their eyes or their heart on our local elites that way, that have been diminished by politics because they refuse to align with the political sphere in Cameroon.
Okay. Is the issue with the representation of our elite class politics? Is it their hands tied because they have to dance according to party lines?
No. When you understand the way things function in this country, it makes you laugh. Watch me. President Pierre ties nobody's hands. People tie their people do wrong things, and then blame the president for not achieving, and then they go around and blame the president. Take for instance, the president puts people there, ministers, prime ministers, and he appoints people to be able to do work and deliver in their communities. I mean, deliver at the national level, but while doing so, pay attention to your backyard and make sure that things are working well there. But most of these people, they show up and they tell lies to the people of their area, you know, or when they go back to they say one thing, the people would present their problems, they would go to the president and the government, they will not say exactly what the people said. And most of the time they will sit in their bedrooms and write motions of support. And then it's been just this sing-song over years, praising the president and singing songs and telling a lot of lies and painting everything and so on. But the good news is that the president has realized that most of those people are liars. They were telling him lies. Of course, you have noticed that all those songs are finished, right? Because it was discovered that most of the people who are singing loudest were the ones who are ruining the country, and many of them are in prison, as you would have noticed. So the president at 88 is no longer interested in those sing-songs. He is looking for your work. When he puts you there to do a job, do the job and give results, so that youth can have work, so that the community can have some development, so that our economy can grow. Instead of people, you know, helping the president to achieve in economics, to achieve in proper education of our youth and capacity building, to achieve in development. Many of these people, they fail. And then to make up for their failure, they sing songs about the president just praising. Then they blackmail other people who could have helped and so on. And that's why we are where we are today. And that is going to change.
Okay, it's going to change. We don't know when. Yes.
Yes, I just wanted to contradict a bit of what Dr. Nick said. You said that, you know, these elites are there to tell lies. Dr. Nick, they are not there to tell lies. They work according to commandments.
No.
When you are an elite and you get involved into politics, you sing the song of the politics that puts you there. That's the truth. These elites, they know what the people of their communities suffer, but they are compelled to tell lies, not because they want to.
No.
I have spoken with most of them.
No, you have spoken with them. They have told you.
I have spoken with most of them.
I'm in the CPD and I know what I'm talking about.
That could be your own personal judgment. But the thing we see on the field is
when they're stealing money from government coffers, is that what the president told them to do?
The president did not tell them to steal money, but the president concurs that.
So let me tell you, why are their hands not tied?
Their hands are not tied. This is a free state. Dr. Nick, let me tell you. Dr. Nick, let me tell you. Those that steal money and are in prison, it's not because they stole money. It is because of the political reasons. Because let me tell you, everybody steals money. All of these ministers, they are thieves. It is a truth.
Reason? What is
they are thieves, but they get imprisoned not because they have stolen money, because they have defied or they have went against the political leader that put them there.
Let me welcome you. You have something to say?
Yeah. I just want, before it slips off my mind, I just want to add to what my learned co-panelist just said here, and she did mention the name of an elite like Paul Atanganje, Minister Paul Atanganje. Honestly speaking, it's true. Yeah, he must have said, they say to err is human, and forgive is divine. If you look critically, honestly speaking, you look at Minister Paul Atanganje, irrespective of the declaration he spent, that was maybe just a political stance.
That's
but
true.
He is the most and hard-working minister amongst all the ministers of Bia's government today. He is everywhere. I even pity, I doubt whether he has at least 3 or 4 hours bed rest. That's the only minister that tours the whole national territory, 10 regions within 3 months. So that's just to tell you that so far he is.
That's not our focus for tonight now.
Yes, thank you very much.
But I also want to plead that we should discuss issues and not persons.
Eventually. Simply because she did mention the declaration of one of elite and cited the name Minister Paul Atanganje. I'm saying that in the contrary.
What did he declare?
That is the minister who today has sleepless night.
Okay, so what did he declare?
Without, and then coming back, I differ also with what I agree with what Dr. Nit said. Actually, honestly speaking, many of our elites actually they do the contrary of what the head of state instructs or the vision that he has, because many of us, many of them don't apply that instinct. There are so many examples. If we start enumerating here, you would realize that what Dr. Lee just said is very true. But I think it's high time we should be able to speak the truth to our people, because politics is nothing else other than development we have. That's the biggest goal and achievement we have for politics.
Okay, we have just been joined by Senior Barrister Ashu Emmanuel, National President of the Reform Party, like we announced at the beginning of the program. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, fellow panelists. Good evening, beloved televiewers.
Yes, your assessment of how you people, you are an elite now from the Northwest and Southwest regions, how honorably you have represented your respective communities.
Well, I'm an elite, yes, but I'm not an elite who represents any community.
You're an ambassador of your community.
Yes, yes, but I'm an elite of the national scale. I listened to some of the arguments that have been put forth, and I think that as an elite, one is supposed to speak for his community, speak out the problems of your community. But what we are watching, what we are seeing, what we are experiencing doesn't seem to be a reflection of what the people are suffering. Because, well, Dr. Ngwenya must have been a bit too hard to say that the people are telling blatant lies. But I think he has a very good point, because an elite who is, say, in government should be able to tell the government, please, this is what my people are living. This is what is plaguing my people. But when most of our brothers come down to the field, I'm sorry, I don't want to brand all of them as thieves. That was also an overstatement. They are not all thieves. There are some clean ministers.
80%.
Yeah, there are some clean ministers, please.
Only 20%.
Even if it's 1%.
The elite is not ministers. Don't forget.
No, I say they are. Well, I heard something like all ministers are thieves. So no, that's why I say we should not brand everybody thief, because there are some clean ones. And anyway, there is this presumption of innocence. So most of these people want to tell a tale that the master will please their master.
Actually.
And in that way, hope to be maintained on the job.
Okay.
Is the tale they are putting forth imposed on them by somebody?
Wow.
Or it is made up by themselves to please? Now, when you look at the tail end, the receiving end, the head of state to whom these tales, for whom these tales are intended, you look at him carefully, you see that he is a person who doesn't support crime. Okay. He doesn't support crime. If you are a criminal, don't go to committing offenses saying that the president knows me. Sorry. I know of some big director general who was to be arrested. I asked, is the president aware? The police will say, yes, he's the one who sent us. Yes, he's the one who sent us. You see, so he doesn't support crime. You are committing your offense, forget about the president, because he will not support you. Whether it is true or not, but we have some individual at the prison in Konenge who claims to be the president's son. Just for that alone, a man who says, I'm the president's son, and the president has never come out to say, no, he's not my son. He is in prison. That should tell you a story. When you look at others who were raised up by this man, big ministers who were raised up by, they end up in prison because he is a man who does not like to associate himself with criminals. So can this type of person instruct somebody to go tell lies about his people? When our elites of O were asked, some of them of O were asked, what can we do for your people? One of them said, give them prison. I don't want to mention that, you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
Give them prison. And they went and built a big prison facility in his village. That is it. You want to present something to the big man up there, hoping that he will be happy with what you are presenting. Whereas what you are presenting does not represent the feelings of your people, the suffering of your people, what your people want. I think our elites, we the elites, we are supposed to be worthy of the people we represent or we talk for. We should present the real thing. Sir, people in Manfi lack this one. They lack this one. They lack this one. Don't tell us that. How many years until one day some people from the south say, no, this time they should actually take that road. So don't tell lies. Say Akwaya has a road. Where is the road? Akwaya has no road. So please, Mr. President, we need a road to lead us to Akwaya. That is better than asking soldiers to go to Akwaya, passing through Nigeria. What is this? The people should tell the truth. Don't be compelled to lie because you think that the man up there will be pleased with you. It is not because of lies that you were appointed there. They should remember, it is not lies that brought you there. It is some other element, some other thing. Some people must have spoken in your favor, and they say, okay, let's see whether this one can be given opportunity. But why do you think that by telling lies, you will maintain yourself on the seat? I think our brothers and sisters who are up there and who are in a position to represent us should learn to tell the truth, to present the true picture of their people's sufferings, so that the people can get some redress.
Good evening, Mr. Liu. Good program. Anglophone elites are not living up to expectations, especially those from the ruling party who are mere hand clappers, motion of support writers, and lies tellers who are there for their stomachs and not the people. In fact, this is intellectual dishonesty. Ngole Hene is writing from Limbe. Good evening to you. Ngole Tebek Ignatius says, the elites have been confiscated by the ruling party. That's why all business people of a particular level become members of the ruling party, not by their choice, but because the state that they may sponsor the opposition. For you to be heard or carry out development in your locality freely, you need to affiliate yourself into a political party.
Very true.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Liu. This is Luis in Limbe. The regime has made it a way that all elites are politicians. Remember, on this same panel, Barrister Achu said Dr. Nick is not a CPN member, but he just joined that party to protect his business, okay? Good evening, my media prime. I love the spirit of that mama in the studio. Anglophones do not have elites. What they have are just politicians fighting for their personal interests and not for their communities. Okay, good evening, Mr. Liu and the panelists. I think from my definition of an elite, who is someone considered to be superior to others because of his or her intelligence, social standing, or wealth, e.g. Dr. Nick is an elite. Charles, writing from Bali. Greetings, Mr. Kuman panelists. The topic for today is timely. Anglophone elites and intellectuals are to about 90% a disgrace to their people. They are praise singers and belly fillers. It is high time we disown them. They push up their children to high positions, no matter their talents, and the meritorious ones are left out with their talents. Metro Sama Collins, writing from Kumba. Now, let us look at the cohabitation between our Anglophone elites and the communities. Do we find them deeply rooted in their community affairs? Do we find them living in the presence, in perfect symbiosis with their communities? You are an elite now?
Yes, of course.
You go to church with your people, you feel their pains, you always sympathize with them, or once you are an elite, you erect a very big fence around your home?
No.
No.
I think I'm inspired by some of the legacies surrounding us today. By some of our leads. It's true we can't actually talk without citing something. I'm talking about John Goodfoncha. Today, up to now, we speak irrespective of the personality he held in this country. His residence has never been fenced up to date. And that's just a tell you, that's actually something to be emulated. As an elite, you should be one who feels the difficulties. You should be the one who feels the pains. You should be the one who feels about the speechless, the voiceless. That's the role of an elite.
Is that what you people are living today? Do the people see you, feel you all the time around them?
Well, like my co-panelist earlier graded, to an extent 80% of our elites who are dormant. They are suffering from inferiority complex, honestly speaking. Yes, that's what they are doing, irrespective of our various backgrounds where we come from. Being religious, academic, professional, social, financial. But they are suffering from inferiority. If you know you must not necessarily be an intellectual in order to be an elite, or be able to make your community feel the impact of what you can bring as contribution into your community. Someone like Dr. Nick, who said he's trying to protect his interest from his investment. I differ with that, but if actually you look at
so.
of course, it was just what one of the readers said. But yes, it's Julius who did send that message. So far, he has spent for it, but we will look at the economic impact that he brings to the economy today. I mean, he is a social, he's a social worker, and he is trying to transfer knowledge. You look, he is training a lot of Cameroonians, as I know. He's training a lot of Cameroonians beyond, and they are not limiting here. There are so many of them who have flown out of the country, and they have picked up jobs, or so many of them are updating their skills from the basic knowledge which he passed over to them. It is something which we need to applaud. And if every Cameroonian or elite in his or her community should reason in that direction, then I don't see any reason why we should be directing blames to elites of this magnitude.
Yes, to the people, like we are talking about the performance, the representation of our elites, especially those from the Northwest region. There are football matches where you see the players play so well and lose out, but you are proud of them that they did their best and could not win. Do you have the feeling that once we become elites from these regions, the people still feel us as being part of the community?
Well, Mr. Com, to tell you the truth, most of these elites that have climbed some ladders that are in one level, they are no longer with their population.
Okay.
It is not because they want to. It is because they have gotten involved into politics. And let's take, for example, in the Northwest and Southwest regions, most of our elites are no longer living there. They fled away. Why? Because they do not represent the people normally. They do not represent what their people want. They do not carry the plight of their people to the government or to whosoever is in charge of that. So I think that it is because of the negative aspect or the negative air they bring out to these people, the mal-representation of these people to the government, that has pushed them not to be closer to the people. Because I tell you, Mr. Kum, most of our elites in these Northwest and Southwest regions have fled away. Not because they wanted to, but because they can no longer stay there. The people do not want them anymore. They do not represent them. What the people want, they do not give them. The plight of the people, they do not carry to their masters. They do not, work as, because an elite is like a bridge. You are supposed to, be that person that brings out the cry of the people to your government or to the government. But they are not playing that role because they have gotten into politics. They are there to fill their pockets, or perhaps they want to preserve some interest. Like businessmen, they get involved into politics because they want to preserve some kind of interest. Because the laissez-faire in Cameroon is that once you are in the CPDM and you are a businessman who is flourishing, you are bound to get aligned with the party on power. If not so, your taxes will increase, because the government always has a way of making sure that they capture all the important elites of communities to align with them, to better, close their mouths. Because I tell you, they are closing their mouths. These elites have no power to tell what their community feel or bring out their plight. They know what their communities are going through. They know the problems. They know that we do not have water, we do not have light, we do not have schools, but they cannot say that. Why? Because the regime in place will not allow you to say what is supposed to be said, but they allow you to say what they want you to say. So that is the problem. Yeah, and they are not closer.
What we are talking is representation. I mean, actually making the people feel that you are part of this community because you are given birth to. In these communities now, you went to maybe a primary school, secondary school. When you were sick, you're taken to the local hospitals, you went to these local markets, and that is where you yeah.
Mr. Kum, I didn't finish. I was like trying to,
okay.
Okay. I was like trying to, yes, I was like trying to, align this with the fact that they are not representing the people normally. That is why they are not closer to them. The people do not want them, so they are not living amongst them. They have left all these regions, or they are flown to Yaoundé, or they live in well protected place with guard corps around them, because they are no longer safe. So they are not closer to their communities, and they do not represent them well.
Okay, yes, Dr. Nick.
Yeah, you see, you're still Akpan is still limiting elite to ministers. Or no, it's not. No, elite is a broad thing.
I spoke of, businessmen. They are not ministers.
And
they are elites.
And they don't have policemen around them anyway.
Most of them, they get involved into politics.
Okay, and that's not the argument. But let me say that those elites who are in the communities, they do very well. They do very well. But it is those of them who aspire for political appointment or something like that begin to misbehave. Okay. But when we are talking of elites, there are some who are great role models, and I don't know whether it's proper to bring some examples here so that we see. But if you were to ask me, who are those people who have impacted me positively, I would say that someone like Professor Victor Anomangu. He really impacted me so much from when I was in medical school, and he has been my role model up till today. Even though he has gone, his spirit lives with me, and I still remember all the things he was telling me and how he was leading me and guiding me by the hand. If I'm a surgeon today because he was a surgeon and he held my hand. And there was something that I learned from him. When he was made the Minister of Health, though he was the Minister of Health, he was still coming to l'Hôpital Central and working with his patients, operating the patients and looking after them and so on. So, and I learned a lot of lessons of humility from him. One thing, he was a minister that didn't change his dressing, that didn't change his car, that didn't change the food he ate, and that didn't change his speech. He was just him. You remove him as minister and nothing changed. So he was someone who was himself, and it was not those externalities that made him who he was. And that was something that really went deep into my marrow. Another elite that I would like to cite is someone like Minister Shea Jones. Shea Jones is a year or two younger than I am, but he's impacted the lives of a lot of people, and especially my life, because he's given me a lot of advice, a lot of counseling, and so on. And when you see other young people like Jero Angala is who he is because Shea Jones, held him by the hand and showed him the way. There are some other businessmen who have done very well, and they are all the product of Mr. Shea Jones. And you see, Shea Jones is not an arrogant person. He is a down-to-earth person, and he works with the community. He has provided a lot of jobs for a lot of people. Take another person, take Jero Angala, who's after him. I mean, we all applaud him on our social group and so on. So these are the kind of people. I mean, that's the kind of thing we want. And take another one like Honorable Awudumbaya. Honorable Awudumbaya is someone I knew when I was in medical school in Yaoundé, that's in the 1970s, and we would come by train through Yaoundé here, and we would stay in his house, and he had an open door, and he would feed anybody who came to his house, and that has been him from that time till today. So it's that the politics has come and then, caused some little bit of friction, but he has remained true to himself. That is the kind of thing we are talking about. He was not, he kept an open door when he was not a politician. When he became a politician, he kept an open door, and after politics, he still keeps an open door. That is the kind of thing we are talking about, holding other people in the committee and pushing them forward.
Politics is causing some friction, changing many persons, like you are saying.
Yeah.
But how are our political elites using their political positions to bring meaningful change to their communities? Are they tapping from their political positions?
Well, the emphasis, I think, ought to have been on the non-political elites, because the political elites, we all know what their input. We know that they are not doing anything.
You are a political elite now.
Yes, I say the political elites are not doing anything. You want me to tell lies?
Okay.
They're not doing anything, truly.
Correct.
Not doing anything, because when you meet them in town, in ordinary business, they will talk you. The language they talk to you looks so juicy, but show them microphone.
Okay.
The same person will metamorphosed and will tell you some story. You will not recognize this man, because he knows that microphone they are showing to him is going to go places.
Okay.
So he wants to be seen by some people, by the people that matter, as a person who stands for this and not that. He does not want to be seen as siding with the common trend. Now you see, this is not correct. An elite should stay close to his people, just as they stay close to the people when it comes to socio-cultural activities. Go to the meeting houses, they are there. When there is a condolence, they are there. But the moment you have to ask them to do some public presentation, I think we had some examples here on this very platform where somebody came from Kumba. He was being cited by some person who called by telephone as a person who was present at a certain scene. But when they asked him here, he turned around and none of us could understand why a man who was being cited as a witness of some incident that involved the police. He said, no, it may be, it can happen like that. No, you see, we should not try to portray our own personal gain. You see, that unfortunately, that looks like what is happening in the society, because every elite wants to get something, wants to propel himself into the limelight of the deciders, so that they'll say, oh, this one, maybe this one, if we take him, he can also do us some good. No, that is not correct. I think we should remain who we are. We are if in our village meetings, we are the people who socialize. If in our quarters, we are the people who help neighbors and help friends. We should not, when we have to be presented in public, present a different image. An image that is anti-people, because we want to please the government. I think that is not correct.
Okay. Mr. Mungwa, you are a politician with the CPDM party.
Yes, of course. That's what I am.
Yes. Have you, as an elite and others from the Northwest, are you doing justice to the custom and tradition of the place? Or because we've seen political elites who now command the chiefs, they ask the chiefs what to do. You see, hardly do we find politicians who revere their traditional rulers the way the people from the Noon division do, and the guys from up north.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kum. That's quite an interesting question. In my capacity as a councillor, vice chairman of project and transport committee, Mesan 5, whenever we have a session, chiefs, all the funds we have within Mesan 5 municipality, they are automatically advisors, and there's no session that goes through without the invitation of any of the funds that constitute Mesan 5 municipality. They automatically, they are invited, and when they come, they have a say, because we still owe respect for our funds, irrespective of our political.
That holds everywhere, Mr. Mungwa.
Yes.
That is not my question. You are still talking politics here. You are talking about your council. I'm talking about the political and intellectual class of the Northwest.
Yes.
Do we see them giving more value to our traditional rulers? Have the traditional rulers gained better because of this political class who has gone to Yaoundé or maybe out of the country and has seen reason to accord more powers to custom and tradition? Oh, are you reversing the order? The traditional rulers have to now come begging, yes, wanting to acquire value from you people.
Yes, that is just in line with what I was saying. We don't minimize, and we never compromise the positions and powers of our
by making them to attend these council sessions.
Yes, we give them the room to be decision makers.
No, I'm talking about the policies and not.
Yes, eventually. Yes, when you talk about the policies, first of all, they are the custodians of our lands, and we hold very high esteem to them, that whatever decisions for development, they should be part of those development processes.
Do you have the impression that our traditional rulers have benefited from our elites, or they have rather become politicians themselves? Yes, when you need support, you tell the traditional ruler that have this mobilize people for me?
Yes, Mr. The local chiefs have been diminished. They no longer have position because our elites, who they are, our intellectuals, our scholars, have taken a head over them. They have overshadowed them because of what they represent, because of politics, because all these things boils down to politics. Look at what is happening in Bamenda, in the northwest and southwest regions. Our chiefs are being kidnapped. They no longer have value. They are being tortured. By who? Our elites, our scholars who are out of the country that send guys to kidnap them, because our local chiefs or our chiefdoms have lost their value because of politics, because of some personal interest. So I think that our local chiefs or our chiefdoms have lost their values. It is not the same like in the west regions where these elites still value their local chiefs. In the west regions, these elites at the end of the year, they will gather funds to make sure that their chiefs or their councillors are being kept well, or they are being protected, or they are being fed. What happens in the northwest and southwest region is not the same. That is why you see most of our local chiefs get involved into some kind of nasty things, and they have become into politics. And all these things has mixed itself, and we no longer see what is important because of politics.
Are chiefs also?
No, please, Madam Akwen, point of correction. Don't mix up the separatist fighters who are undermining the values and the importance of our chiefs to the politicians or our
let me remind you that
yeah.
I want to remind you that Atanganji is an elite. He's not a separatist fighter, but he still undermined the importance of chiefs. He told the local chiefs of the West regions that they should go to the farms. So it does not only mean that the separatist fighters are the ones who are no longer giving values to our chiefdoms.
Well, telling them go to the farm, I said yeah.
It is an insult because this is because
province.
My goodness.
No. I think that I differ with you, Akwe.
Come on, going to the farm is not.
Listen.
It's not fun only. Asking the farm to go to the farm is not something.
Okay.
My son personally is somebody who is a very big farmer.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the 6th December
honestly
regional
speaking.
elections, they had their own part and they
If
created
you
the
look
House
at-
of Chiefs
let me
and
tell
they
you,
got involved into
if you
politics.
look at the
So
West-
if Mr. Tanganji goes out and says that they should go back to the farm, it simply means that he's
it's not a
insulting.
debate about Minister Tangaji.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get a couple of things right. Let's get a couple of things right. Presently, we are building at St. Louis Bonaberry, and if you come there, I will show you. I'm sure you've seen the buildings, Mr. Kum. Those buildings have been built by the fund of Tundip. He is my fund, and he's a builder, and his 2 wives are builders. His 3 kids or so that are grown are all builders, and they form a team. Then he would employ other people, and they are building. And because of the Anglophone crisis, a lot has changed in their mentality. And the roofs of the buildings were roofed by the fund of Tala, a fund. Because most of these people, they were technicians before they became funds. And for them even just to go to the village and just sit like that and be waiting and drinking, it's really it's not their style of life. So when Minister Atanganji says the funds should go to the farms, there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing at
Everything
all.
is wrong.
Not at all.
No. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong in that.
And you give the impression, you're already giving the impression that farming is bad.
Yeah.
It's not
We
true.
didn't give an
No,
impression that
wait,
farming
wait,
is bad.
wait.
It's just
I
that he
myself-
limited them into farming.
No,
Meanwhile, they are already
Go to-
politicians.
so when you are a politician, you should not go to the farm.
It is an insult. If they
No,
tell
it's
Mr.
not an
Atanganji that
insult.
you should leave what you're doing and
no,
go back to the farm, it is an
A lot of
insult.
ministers
not
are
an insult.
a lot of ministers are farmers. President Pobia is a farmer,
Has-
and I also have
okay,
a
let me
farm.
ask you a
No,
question.
one farmer-
Can Mr.
one
Atanganji get
President
up one day
Pobia.
and tell another minister
please,
go back to the farm and leave that just
Please discuss.
because we are here.
We are talking about elites. I'm
Yes.
sure we have thousands of them.
Yes.
We cannot
In fact,
limit a debate
to
on
yes.
one elite.
What I'm trying to
Yeah.
stress here is because the listeners should not go away with the wrong impression.
Oh, yeah.
And we should not give people the impression that when you are a farmer, you are a nobody.
Yeah.
No.
Come on.
And the greatest people who have make the greatest money are farmers if they know exactly what they are doing. Farming, Cameroon is going to be revolutionized. And when we are talking even of creating 2 million jobs for youth in every 2 years. All those jobs are in farming sector. You just have to mechanize and transform and all. So the question would be, how are you helping? How are you helping the funds to farm better?
Can you come back
yes,
to my
yeah,
question?
Yes. I don't want to clarify.
How the elites, you people, how have you helped the funds? Are you not the ones who are causing them to get the more and more into politics? Because when you undervalue them, they think that, okay, to come up to your level, they should also get into politics, so they become MPs.
Fundums, there has been a problem with, there's been a shifting in the culture of fundums because of the change in society, the change in economics and the change in the way wealth is created. A few years back, the funds just sat in the palace, and they had many wives, just like many other polygamous families. And these wives, the women, they were working on the farms, and at the end of the year, they would bring something to the fund. And it was everybody's responsibility to feed the fund. But over time, people cannot even feed themselves. So feeding the fund has become a secondary thing, and people don't pay much attention to it. And now it's become everyone for himself, God for us all, kind of. And therefore, the funds are sitting in the palace and have nothing to feed their many children with. So they themselves are trying, and the new ones who are coming into power now as funds have been in Douala, Yaoundé, and so on, and they have been working and so on. So the mindset is transforming. I don't know if I'm communicating here and making some sense. But if we step back again to find out when the funds started to lose their power, that dominance that they have and that control that they have over their people, it started with Honorable Pa Chidi Achu, who used them to play politics, scratch my back, I scratch your back, that kind of thing, and started to woo the funds from their traditional thing and brought them over to partisan politics. And once you put the funds in partisan politics, you divide the village, you divide the people in the village, and that's where the problem started.
Okay, that's where the problem started. We are talking about intellectuals today in Cameroon. For those in the northwest and southwest regions, can we call them the models? Do they inspire the younger generation to want to be like them?
Mr. Liu, you are trying to deprive me of my own contribution on that very important.
Okay, the previous question?
Yes.
No, feel free.
Because you see, we all know that our chiefs and funds were neutral people in the village. They were there for everybody. But when politics came, it is we, the elites, who went back to the village with huge sums of monies to give to chiefs and ask them to support our political parties. And that is where we drag them into politics and now cause them to be one-sided, and they have to forget the other people. So the elites are responsible for what is happening to the chiefs, because they are the ones who brought their big monies and corrupted the chiefs and forced them to enter either the ruling party or some other party. Without those type of monies, the chiefs would have remained neutral. Now the chiefs have eaten the money and it is sweet. They want now to be full-time politicians until they're asking and getting house of chiefs and all those type of things. So we should not blame them. We caused it because we are the ones who made them taste of big monies and feel that if they support this or this party, more money will be coming. So I think the intellectuals the elites are to be blamed for dragging the chiefs and funds into politics. Now,
no, do they inspire the younger generation to want to emulate the path they have taken so far?
Well, the criticism levied against the elites by the younger generation shows that these generations are not inspired by the elites at all. Because if what the elites were doing was good in the eyes of the youth, they would have been clapping for them. But this time around, you have the youth criticizing the elites and telling them, no, please, you are too self-centered, you talk for yourself, you represent nobody but yourself and your family. And of course, the small salary you earn or the small money you make from your business. So I think the elites would win to be closer to their people, closer to the youth by being more proactive. Let the elites try to take into consideration the interests of the youths. My brother here was talking about creating jobs. Who are you creating those jobs for? For the youth. For the youth, it is a youth that they need those jobs. So if you are creating jobs, I don't agree with the mechanization, because when you bring mechanization, the machine will do everything. I don't know what the individual will do. You see, you try to bring jobs that are manpower manpower intensive.
No.
If you want them to have jobs,
No.
give them manpower intensive jobs.
Not true.
That doesn't mean you send them all to manual labor. Manpower intensive doesn't mean that everybody will be involved in manual labor.
No.
There are jobs which can be done by people, honorable jobs. Now, when we come back to the other aspect that we're talking about, the chiefs going to the farm, I think there is something pejorative about it, because it is true that the farm is a nice thing, but why only the farm? There are chiefs who are lawyers. In Douala here, I know many of them who are lawyers. Even the founder of Bafut, we were in the university, he was our senior in the university, Abumbi. See, there are chiefs who are knowledgeable. So if you come and tell somebody that you should go to the farm, there's something pejorative about it. This is a man who has studied law. Why the farm?
Yeah, but
he can be a lawyer. Why the farm? He can be a magistrate. Why the farm? We have forms who are magistrates. Why the farm? Look, there is something pejorative about it. I think we should face the facts and tell this man that he doesn't have any particular occupation to recommend for the chiefs.
Oh, sorry.
Let every chief do like he was saying. His school is being built by two courts. Yes. That's good. They are builders.
Let me say here, the phone of Mancon is a farmer. Am I correct?
No, you are very correct.
Yeah, the phone of Mancon is a farmer.
Permit me, please. Permit me elaborate a bit on this aspect.
To recommend farming for everybody.
No, permit me recommend.
If you ask me to go to the farm, you are insulting me.
No. See, you're by statue. Oh, no. Yeah, that's really inferiority complex.
I am a lawyer, not a farmer.
No, permit me, Lambras, and elaborate more on this aspect of agronomy. The latest or recent World Bank GDP indicates that in the next 10 years, they are urging, all nations and continents to invest more in agriculture. I will cite the case of the maritime and offshore industry where I belong to. Since 2014, which we faced the crisis and drop in oil price, you have Angola first as #1 producer of oil in Africa. You have Nigeria, which is first, Angola second, and Equatorial Guinea third. Cameroon occupies the 7th position. And if I tell you so far that in the past 4 years, Nigeria is surviving today back to agriculture. That is their preoccupation today. That's what generates 60% of their state income is agriculture. Equatorial Guinea is where you can verify. It's not something I'm just talking on the air here. You can verify that. So agriculture should. Achidachu, I've visited Achidachu farms or hectares. He owns more than 100 hectares, irrespective of the political positions that he has held in Cameroon that we all know. At this juncture, I speak equally. I represent Humic Plus, an Indonesian organic fertilizer manure, which is foliar. You spray from the stems right down to the roots. I represent that in the Northwest world. That should tell you so far that agriculture, honestly speaking, when you hear the head of state referring the youth to go to agriculture, he is former #1 pineapple farmer in Cameroon. It's no two people than the President Paul Biya. So, honestly speaking, who amongst us? This is a surgeon talking here, and you and I, you don't even need to go to that health school to know that the first antibiotic to the body is food. It's food.
Okay.
We need to feed the body.
There is
we need to
something
feed.
I wanted
There's
to
no way,
clarify.
even your medications, it is recommended eat before you take your drugs. So I don't see how we
something I
should
wanted
sit
to
here and
clarify
condemn
rapidly.
agriculture
When
or agronomy.
a
No
statement
way.
is being passed, right, they interpret it according to the context. The
Oh,
context in
no.
which, wait, let me talk. When you were talking, I didn't stop you. When a
But that is
statement,
just what you
let
did.
me talk.
You have stopped me. I'm not finished. But you halted me.
She asked
Proceed.
No, land. Okay, it's okay, land.
Yeah. Honestly speaking,
She landed.
I don't find it a taboo or an insult when His Excellency Minister Atanganji asked the funds to go back and do farming, honestly speaking, that is not an insult, not a taboo.
Okay, Mr. Kum, I was trying to say that we interpret a sentence or a word or a communique according to the context. Yeah, the context in which we are talking.
That's not the debate.
No, yes, we are trying to talk about farming. I was trying to clarify what Dr. Nick said and my other co-panelists. Farm or the land does not lie. It is a beneficiary input or something that is very beneficial. It is, most of our world-class businessmen are most involved into agriculture, but the problem is the context in which this our territorial minister went and said to the chiefs of the West that go to the farm was not a context that was uploadable, or the context was not like refined. That's the problem. You cannot come and tell me that I'm talking about politics that go back to the farm. It's an insult. That politics is meant for the politicians. Who are politicians? These chiefs are involved in the politics because on the 6th of December, we had their own part, which was the House of Chiefs that were created, and they were involved into politics. So if I'm talking politics, you come and tell me go back to the farm, it's an insult. It's you're insulting even your president that brought out that decree. So the context is not the same context to which I see my co-panelists trying to identify.
No, that's just
agriculture is good. It is profitable to everybody.
It's misinterpretation.
Denies that. But the context was not what we all wanted it to be.
So that's just
Can I just talk about agriculture?
Yeah.
When we talk about agriculture, though you say that the way, of course, when Minister Atanganji was talking to the chief of is it Bamenju or what?
Bamenju?
Yes. You could feel that there was some tension.
Sure.
And that's why you interpret it as such. But when he says go to the farm, the fund should go to the farm.
No.
Wait. When he says
we are taking the debate.
Yes, when he says go to the farm,
no.
I saw him. The fund himself must not necessarily hold the whole. The fund organizes.
That was not the context.
That
was not the context.
Whatever. But I want all our listeners to not think that agriculture is meant for a
group of people.
Okay.
No one said so. No one said so. No one said so. No one said so.
It's honorable.
I want please.
I was speaking. My mayor, he's into politics, but he's honestly speaking, I bet you he earns his income from agriculture.
I am into agriculture. I have
80% of his income generated from that.
But you will not come and tell me on it.
Can we calm down, please? Good evening to Mayor Tanjong. Is Tanjong Martin? No?
Exactly, Tanjong
Okay.
Martin.
Yes, he has gotten your greetings and your appreciation. Now, I want us to look at the role elites and intellectuals have played in the Northwest and Southwest towards a unity. Do they work to put the people together so that as a community we can forge a common destiny? All of us will have input.
No, they have not. And like we was talking about our elites, when you ask this question, one is seeing mostly the political elite. Okay, and since most of that political elite is divided against party lines, you would see political elites of the CPDM behaving in a particular mindset, and those of the opposition behaving in another way. And you would begin to see that those of the opposition, those of the ruling party are for things to be the way they are, and those of the opposition want a little bit of progress. And because there is a lot of blackmail, as I said, even if you are in the ruling party and you think differently, you are blackmailed, So there's a lot of blackmail and things going on. And like I said, those that are in the supposed good books, they tell a lot of lies and try to make things, to just keep themselves in place. And the honest truth is, with the problems that we are having in the Northwest, Southwest, if our political elite were speaking the truth, this problem would have been over a long time ago. It's because they tell a lot of lies to the president.
Okay. Mr. Kum, the elites have long lost credibility with their people because they don't listen to them. In time past, there were some questions that could only be answered by hierarchy, but now political elites answer all questions and take nothing to the powers that be. Alexis is writing from Bamenda. Muke Ebang says, Bono. Okay, but... okay. Everybody has their opinion. Cantona from Douala says all Northwest and Southwest elites are all working for their tummy and family self-interest. Thunder. Okay, the population who voted them are no longer interested in them. Let's talk of seeing them. This one says, blessed evening, Senior Leo. Greetings to all panelists, especially to Dr. Nick and Barrister. I strongly believe that for our fine and chiefs to gain their rightful positions with all the respect of yesteryears is for them to put completely aside politics. Fandoms, just like church, should be a uniting factor that accepts all, given that all are her children. There is no respect for the traditional rulers just because of political involvement. Bonganjum, Derek Ndisi at New Bell in Bamenda. Good evening to you. Good evening, Mr. Liu. No matter the grammar and statistics used to describe farming in our context and society, it is still very debasing. Maxi is writing from Yaoundé. This one says, good evening to all in the studio and particularly to the lone lady. She's speaking but the truth. Mr. Liu, take note that, Mr. Tebo is writing from Baptibo. Good evening to you, Mr. Tebo. Mr. Leo, to say that the funds should go to the farm is an abuse. If funds have their professions, let them do it. Let the villagers back to old-time care to the funds, okay? Augustine is writing from Kumbu. Greetings once more, Dr. Nick. You are really what would actually make a minister to remind the chiefs to go back to the farm, if not insulting them. Farming is not bad, but the reason of saying it was too insulting. Elder Akuku is writing from Boya. Okay, good evening, Mr. Liu. Just want to ask the results. Okay, Elan Paul. Now we are looking at how our elites are playing the uniting factor in them.
Yeah, Mr. Liu, we have to be careful about this because the elites in this case are the nucleus. They are the nucleus of unity. We have seen that the political elites that are in the service, in the government service, they've been playing a very bad role because they were instead supporting their master, and they were overtaken by the elites of the opposition, who most of whom, well, they are here, most of whom put the truth on the table, and that truth has has educated the population to such an extent that it's not easy any longer for those government elites to come talk any type of nonsense to the grassroots, because the grassroots is now informed and they are willing to listen only to nothing but the truth. So I think that the elites have done a very nice job. I mean, the elites of the opposition and the civil society, they've done a very nice job to put the truth on the table and ask the other elites who wanted to sell their souls to their master to come back and swallow that truth and make sure that the truth prevails in front, because you cannot build a nation on lies. Today, everybody is saying our rights have to be respected. That is thanks to the work, that the immense job that has been put up by lawyers, journalists, you can name them, teachers, all that. We have all put our hands on deck, and today I think the truth, the cat is out of the bag. There is nothing to hide in this country anymore. We all know where we are coming from and where we are going to, and it's just a matter of time for the sun to tell us the direction. So I think the elites of the civil society and of the opposition have done a very good job. I only ask on those who are in the government to try to follow suit, because it doesn't serve you any purpose to try to paddle against the current of the river. See, when the river is going down towards Dimbe, you are paddling or towards Munya, you are wasting your time. You cannot go far. You can't go far. You see, because the population knows already what the truth is, and you will gain by standing by the truth instead of trying to perpetuate the lies, defend lies that everybody knows these are lies. You think that by sticking to them, you are going to go to anywhere. You will not lead to any place. So I think my point here is that there is some credit to be given to the elites of the civil society and the opposition, who have done a marvelous job to dig up the truth and put it on the table.
Like yourself.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Liu, thanks a lot for your program. I am Mami Lucy from Limbe. Why should we talk much on farming? What has the government done to farmers like in other countries government give to farmers. Okay, shame to us in Cameroon. Good evening to you.
She's not informed. She's not informed.
Yeah, until you tell her. Greetings to you, Mr. Liu, and to those in the panel. I'm enjoying the program. I like the way you are coordinating the program. More grace to your work. I'm Dan Nguru Jeunesse, writing from. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Maxel from Limbe. I like and admire the lady on your panel for her consistency and firmness. Always invite her, please. She's representing us well. I don't know who you are. Good evening to the panelists. Going to the farm is not a bad thing, but with our government, Cameroonians are frustrated because if you go to the South Province, you find tractors that were for farmers that are getting rot. My name is Ng. Good evening to you, Ng. The president is a farmer. Can he work in the farm? Okay. You must have worked now if you have the idea. Yes. We are talking about elites working to unite the people.
Yes, thanks, Lo. I will actually emphasize, and I would want to enlighten much again on this platform so far, which, irrespective of our religious background, political backgrounds, I must applaud the administration of decentralization put in place by President Paul Biya. Many of us might interpret it in our different views, different opinions, but when you are part of this system, you will understand much better. What I mean here is, so far, if you look critically, administration, development has been brought to our doorsteps through the breakdowns of administration at different levels. Regional councils have come to complete the organogram. Honestly speaking, I speak to each and every one of my colleagues, irrespective of the party or the umbrella where he belongs to. So far, we are responsible, or tomorrow we should be held responsible for the development of our community. We shouldn't point fingers at A, B, C, X, or whatsoever, because at this juncture,
yeah, but the issue is not pointing fingers.
Yes.
My question,
yes, I want the impact. What the
no. My question is: you are a political elite from the Northwest. You say you are an economic elite also. How much are you contributing to uniting the people of your community so that they all see in the same direction, irrespective of their political
differences? So far, I think I launched a scholarship scheme for students of technical high school within my community, where the first 3 or 5 students are supposed to benefit from more training. That is one of the one of the projects which actually is ongoing. But unfortunately, the separatists fighters.
Yes, you're talking politics. No, it's politics. You're talking about your realization. Are you saying that people in your constituency who belong to the SDF, PCRN, and the other parties, you are telling people to see them the way they see you?
Yes, of course.
Irrespective of your differences?
Yes, irrespective of the differences. Because so far, okay, we have projects which we have.
Are there not people who are stigmatized, marginalized, and given less opportunities because they militate with another party?
No, they are not. We give priorities for irrespective of the party line. You're talking about water facilities, road infrastructures, and you talk about education, which is not limited to
people party, of your party. Yes, yes. Akwen, you're quite young. You're a young politician, but you have seen what our fathers have done in the domain, not only politics, also because we are talking intellectuals.
Okay.
We've seen how divided our communities are. For the past 20 years, have we seen the politicians, political elites, the intellectuals making very, very clear efforts to wanting to see everybody united?
Well, Mr. Combe, your question is very pertinent, but I will tell you that there are still some, very important elites, or very, how can I use, what is the word? There are still some elites that are still beneficiary, or that still have good records, that have been doing things like we have Honorable Ngala, who is doing great things to unite his people despite your political family. Politics has divided our communities because, when you're from the CPDM or the SDF or the PCRN, the community becomes divided. There is no unity. Now, these political elites who are there, their role is to unite these people. And how can you unite? By bringing in development. Maybe you can create a school. You can open a school in your community. That school is meant to unite your community. Is it that it's only people from the CPDM or the SDF or the PCRN that will attend the school? No. All of them will attend the school. The truth is, we still have elites that are still, that still have their community at heart, and still love their community and play a great role in bringing them together and creating this unity. But we still have some ones that, if they have an opportunity, to bring, propose some people in the government, or put some people into, some public works, they would take just people from their party, and that creates division. Meanwhile, an elite is supposed to, bring opportunity for everybody, despite your political party or despite your political family. So I think that there are still some, political elites that are working heart in heart, or day in, day out, to see that their communities are united according to their works, what they do. Because to unite someone, you need to bring food, you need to bring development, you need to bring light, and there are elites that do that, like Honorable Ngala, but others do not. So I think that on the both sides, we have positive ones and negative ones.
Well, you just mentioned the case of Ngala, because maybe he's so pronounced, but you don't know there are many other elites which are doing that. Okay, I will just tell you so far now on this platform. They have launched the recruitment of KPM, that's grade 1 teachers. If you have, irrespective of our political line so far now, if you have any cases of those who intend to or have sat in, then bring them forward and will accompany.
The truth is, what we come and say in front of plateaus is not what we practice at the field. You will come and tell me that I can present, but when the opportunity comes, you will take just
the opportunities are there. And as we talk now,
and that unity is not there.
I say those who have sat in, you can bring them.
Dr. Nick, the people of the Southwest and Northwest regions are living a particular ambience as we speak for the past 4 years. Do they see their elites, intellectuals, worried carrying this, what they go through, to wherever they're working?
Let us say that before 2016, the people of these two regions, they had this fear and understanding that, the elites were not, behaving in the right way as they ought to. And the crisis has come to make it more evident that the elites are not as useful as they ought to be. So the scales have fallen off, and then people can tell who is who really. And let me say that at this material moment, if you were to read in my crystal ball, you will see that even His Excellency President Paul Biya is number one, not happy with the elites. Number two, he wants that there should be some reconciliation and unity, something that the elites don't want, because the elites are the ones who created the disunity. So there is really that desire for the president to see that there is reconciliation and unity in the nation. And this old generation of elites who have been telling a lot of lies would have to be sidetracked, they have to be sidelined, and then a new mindset brought on board, and new elites of the younger generation, that's what he said, new elites of the younger generation will be propped up to take the nation forward, because this older generation have been just a bunch of liars.
Okay, Senior Barrister, when we follow him, he says that the elites no longer carry the aspirations of the people. Is there going to be need for a rethinking of who an elite should be, especially in these two regions?
It is already going on. You can see
have they truly lost their place?
They have truly lost their place. You see, difficult to see any of those people up there come down to the field and talk and
That's
who
it.
listen to him. It's really horrendous. You see, the first thing was that when they started losing their popularity, it was in favor of the diaspora. But the diaspora realized that they were not making as much impact, so the local elites took over, and you see, the impact is better felt. You see, when the elites who are on the ground tell the truth, it is followed, and you see, the impact is heavily felt. You cannot today, if you take some of those ministers or them put on the ground, and confront them to some elites of the civil society or the political parties, you see that it will be a disgrace. Nobody will listen to them, to those people there. Nobody, because
yeah, but why do you limit elites to ministers?
Well, those are the ones who make an impact now. When they are coming down, they come with
A huge
huge amounts of money. They come and buy, they bring rice, bring bimbo and all that to come out. But few people come around it, even with all the food and bimbo.
That's it.
People refuse to eat and drink because they know that as they are coming to eat and drink, like that, the story that will be told around will be a different one. The message that they are going to give will never reach. You remember when sometime the Prime Minister was going around to ask the people what was their problem? There are some meetings that you even attended, and when the people told the representative, look, this is what we want, the final thing that was sent up there had nothing to do with even the video messages that we all watched from Kumba. People were talking from Kumba, but the message was that region was that they wanted 10 state federation that nobody asked for. Nobody asked for. I mean, what credence do you want people to give to those type of politicians who actually hear what the people say
and change it,
and they even see that the population will be informed of what the people said, but they still change it shamefully and present it as what the people say? Now, please, they should learn. I think the person who thinks that that generation has to be wiped out is very correct, because it is not because of his wish. The people themselves have wiped the generation out. They are now looking for a new generation of people who stand by the truth.
Okay.
If you don't stand by the truth, just don't waste your time, because nobody will listen to you.
Good evening, Mr. Liu and all other members of the panel. The topic is very interesting and I am following with attention. I also want to appreciate your coordination. Bravo to the Lone Lady for her consistency. Digmo Timothy writing from Mutengene. Good evening, Mr. Liu. When we are discussing law or health or politics and you ask me to go to the farm, implies that my level is the farm. Sorry, sirs, it is an insult. Daniel is writing from Victoria. Yes.
That was my point of view.
Good evening. I'm afraid to disagree, but telling the chief to go back to the farm is like telling a woman that her place is in the kitchen. The kitchen is not a bad place, but the statement is undermining. Elvis writing from Leicester. No, they call it Leicester. Okay, yes. The famous football team is Leicester, yes. Good evening, Japanese. One who teaches is a teacher, and one who owns the school is an entrepreneur. One who drives a taxi is a taxi driver. One who owns the taxi is an entrepreneur. One who cultivates crops in a farm is a farmer. One who owns the farm is an entrepreneur. Can one be a farmer without farming? Agbo Eno writing. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo and vibrant guest in the studio. We are really enjoying the contributions made by panelists and the way you are coordinating the program. More power to your able, Mr. Ambe Emmanuel writing from Bawum in Bafut subdivision. Please, you guys should facilitate our going down to Menchum division. It's not easy passing through Bafut down. Yeah. Yes. You guys should also have pity on us. I'm pleading on behalf of the people of Menchum. I'm pleading to our Bafut brothers.
open the road.
Open the road.
Please. The road is open, but
yeah,
before you reach Menchum,
and the taxi fare has skyrocketed.
Yes, you have to drop until you're tired. Now, he is saying, senior barrister is saying that there is need for a rebirth of a new generation of elites and intellectuals in the northwest and southwest region. You think so too?
Of course. Maybe senior barrister is not aware because he is so limited to civil society and opposition that he is not is not aware with the current legacies put in place by President Paul Biya. You would agree with me so far here, each and everyone, even if a blind person would touch and feel, if you cannot see that 60% of those are called regional, municipal, and legislative occupants today, not elected from Yaoundé, please. How can you call an elected official elected from Yaoundé?
Yeah, but they came through investiture now.
Yeah, but of course to the investitures, and who elected them? The people on the ground elected them, please. Look. I said 60%. So you don't need to clamor about that again. You have to review, please, before you speak. I said 60% of them are to the youth, that are the youth occupying these positions. From you look at the number of parliamentarians. We talk about 70% of the parliamentarians today. They are less than 40 years, or maximum 45. Okay. Regional level and at the municipal level, mayors as we speak as well.
You mean the process is already on?
Yes, it is already. It has been implemented. So the youth so far now, they are actually those who are spearheading the drives of our economy today. So
we can see it at the level of the Social and Economic Council. We can see it at the level of the Senate, the National Assembly, at the helm of the Secretary of your party, the President of the Republic.
They represent just 10%, please.
Okay.
30 seconds.
They represent 10%. These people represent just 10%.
Yeah.
Wait. Hold on. Before you.
No. Yeah, Mr. Mungwa, please. No, Mr. Mungwa. We have 5 more minutes in the studio. We are supposed to receive some other guests after this, so we have 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look at the leaders of America.
Please.
I want to disagree with my co-panelist that said that it has already been implemented, because if we listen to the end of today's speech of President Paul Biya allocated to the youth, he said that he's going to work with his government to see that youths get more involved into the government, because 60% of the population of Cameroon is predominated by the youths, and he accepted in his speech that youths are not involved in decision making. So he is saying that it's already implemented. It's a controversy to what the president said. That's not the truth. And to be candid with you, we think that there is need for a rebirth of a new era of politicians that speak the truth. Politicians or elites that will represent their communities or their population normally. And I think that with the transition period that is fast coming to Cameroon, there will be a change of mentality, because I am a young politician. I am aspiring to create an impact. I am aspiring to be an elite to represent my people normally, or how I'm aspiring, to give out or dish what my people want. So I think that it will start by reformatting your mentality. It's a problem of mentality. Because if we say that the regime in place is corrupt, is dirty, what are the youths doing? Are they profitable? Are they not questionable? So the youths who want to take power should start by, formatting their brain from that all archaic politics that is meant to fill your bellies, and start to focus in developing your local communities and working to see that your population gets satisfaction when you are being elected or you are being nominated.
Briefly.
Yes, I think we have a living example here. A living example of somebody who is in CPDM and who says it is not because you're in CPDM that you must tell lies.
That's it.
This man here has given us reason to believe that CPDM people can tell the truth.
The truth.
But here on this very platform,
he cannot.
A CPDM man came and said he is not of CPDM because he tells the truth. You see that? I mean, no, you have to reformat your way of thinking.
That's it.
Because I mean, this is an example here. CPDM man said he is not CPDM because he tells the truth.
Who is this CPDM man that tell me a liar?
Good. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Please, I wish I could get the definition of a farmer from your panelists. Is anyone who has invested in farming a farmer? I'm asking this because some of them, they have cited some people as farmers who, to the best of my knowledge, might never have been on the farm. Debon, writing from mile 4 in Nkwen. Please, can the councillor define the term youth as per applied to our country's context? From Chongwine, writing from Yaoundé.
Yeah, of course.
Congrats, Pakum, for everything. Pakum, in the 1950s, chiefs and funds played a great role in politics and were supported by the people. What's happening today? Madame Bisson, writing from Kumba, good evening to you. Mr. Liu, there is nothing good that can come out of NTCP. Okay. Okay. Good evening. Okay, we have to end with this part of the program. At this juncture, we are going to take a short break. When we come back, we are going to be receiving some other guests to tell us this time how to make money every time. Prime R is also focused on making everybody become rich. So we are going to be receiving some persons here tell us one of the shortest ways possible to get financially free. Dr. Nick, we want to say thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Let me continue to remind people again that the President, His Excellency President Paul Biya, at this material moment, number one, is very interested in reconciling the nation. Number two, he wants unity. And number three, he wants to make sure that power really passes down to a younger generation. And number four, he is not happy with the elite who tell lies.
Yes, but you also want an Anglophone to be president.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yes, you want an Anglophone to be next president of Cameroon. I don't know whether you think so. Thank you for coming.
Just want to tell our elites that are into politics that they should start by, getting more inclined in the well-being of their population rather than working for their own personal interests. And they should work also to make sure that the crisis in the northwest and southwest region comes to an end, because they have a part to play in that problem.
Senior Barrister, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Kum. I hope the elites will learn to clear the table of all those old cronies who feed us with lies, and bring a new breed of politicians who stand by the truth no matter what.
Okay, Mr. Mungwa, thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks a lot once more. And I think the president has already implemented by involving young Cameroonians at all levels as future leaders who are already acting and they are part of decision makers.
Mr. Mungwa, extend our greetings to the mayor of
Maison 5, Toba, precisely, Mayor Tanjong.
Okay.
I think he's watching and he's actually placed to be here as one of your future panelists.
Okay, we are going to be happy to receive him. We are going to take a short break. After this, we receive some guests in the studio. Okay, welcome back. This time around, we are going to be receiving some special guests, like we said earlier on in the program. We are going to be talking about a special event. I will not want to talk about it. I want them to tell us what their mission is for the Cameroonian youth. Many persons are not living so well. They want to be financially free. They want to live better lives, and they want to know how. So just follow the program. I'm sure they have something good for us. We are in the company of Mr. Njisong Godlove. He is the founder of GOMAT. We're glad to have you. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Liu. I'm happy to be with you here this evening, and hello to our televiewers and those who are following us live.
Mr. Njisang Golof is founder of GoMat, and we also have Njisong Miranda, who is a co-founder of GoMat Warrior. GoMat Warrior, you are a GoMat Warrior? Okay. GoMat founder, GoMat Warrior. What's the
GoMat Warriors, anyone who has attended the GoMat event, you automatically become a warrior.
Okay. We also are in the company of Edith Enoncho, who is the event manager of GoMat. Is GoMat 6?
Yes, for GoMat.
GoMat 6 edition. Yeah. We are glad to have you.
Thank you, Mr. Kmer, and thank you to all those watching us this evening. And thank you, for, Mr. Jisong, the CEO of GoMat Networking, for the opportunity to manage the event.
Okay, I will start with you. Who is Mr. Golof Jisong?
Okay, the first thing I'm going to say is I'm a Cameroonian. I'm a young person, actually studied engineering in school, and I've had the opportunity to work in some of the companies that are in Cameroon as an engineer. Up to 2018, that I decided to, resign and follow what I thought was my purpose, which is offering a platform for Cameroonians and Africans to be able to develop their potentials and make a difference in the society. So apart from that, I'm also a business consultant. I'm an entrepreneur. But today I'm here as the founder of GoMat Network.
Okay. Please, if you have any question to ask them, feel free to send a message to me. I'll pass it on to them. And if you think that you want to talk to them, I will send you the numbers. But GoMat, you say GoMat Network?
That's right.
When people hear about networking, the first thing that comes to their mind is this stuff on social media where people have to buy and sell and sell. What is GoMat all about?
Okay, GoMat, let me start with GoMat before I explain what GoMat Network is. GoMat actually stands for Go Make a Difference. So actually it's a platform with a charge for everybody that comes for the event to have that inspiration to go back to the society and be a change maker and make a difference. So everything that we do is about empowering people to be able to create impact in the community. Now the GoMat Network actually comes in because it's a group of companies. You have GoMat Academy, you have GoMat Consultancy, we actually consult for companies, and we have GoMat Business. We are also building businesses. So that is why I call it network. It's like a group of companies. GoMat is not a network marketing company. I just want to clear that doubt.
Okay, you say it is an opportunity, a platform that sends people to go make a difference.
That's right.
Yes, what do you mean by that?
Okay, as you earlier mentioned, we are preparing for GoMat 6. It means that we definitely have had GoMat 1, GoMat 2, GoMat 3, GoMat 4, GoMat 5. Actually, I call it an event. I don't call it a seminar. I don't call it a training. I don't call it a conference. The reason why we call it an event because it's a full experience. Though we come there, people come there to get trained, to be inspired, to be motivated, to be shown the path to their purpose. It's an event because it's more of an experience that helps people to be transformed. So we actually started in 2018, October 2018, with the first edition. And by God's grace, we're able to do GoMat 2 in 2019, as well as GoMat 3, GoMat 4 and 5 were last year. And 4, 5, and we are preparing for 6 now, which is actually a bigger event than the other ones. We have had the privilege of training over 600 Cameroonians directly, because apart from the GoMat event, we also offer master classes and certification programs. Just last month, we had a master class on money mastery, which was all about helping people to understand what money is, helping people to know how to make money legitimately, knowing how to seize opportunities. And everybody that attends our training actually go back satisfied and longing for more.
Okay, when you attend the trainings, you are taught on how to master money. Is that what you're saying?
Not just money. GoMat is not just about money. Financial intelligence or financial literacy, It's just one of the aspects that GoMat does. We train people on leadership. We train people on how to develop their entrepreneurial skills. We train people on how to manage their time. We train people to understand their purpose, develop it, and deploy it. So,
okay. Yeah, GoMat 6 is coming up shortly. No, late.
In less than 2 weeks' time.
Okay, by the end of
27th of February.
Okay, yes. What's going to be different? To be the difference in this GoMat 6 to the previous?
All right, Mr. Kom, thank you very much. So far, so good as the event manager to the upcoming event, the GoMat 6. The GoMat 6 is going to be entirely a different picture, and it's going to be unique in its own kind because, as what Mr. Golof earlier said, we've had GoMat 1 to 5, and it's basically on trainings. And so GoMat 6 is coming with a very different face. First of all, we have the GoMat village. So if you ask me what the GoMat village is going to be all about, I would say Mr. Jin Song is bringing something different for the GoMat warriors. So he said he has over 600 warriors already, like 600 persons that he has trained. And it's not only training, but he has consistent follow-up of these young people. And they're out there, they are very busy. They are young entrepreneurs, they have their own businesses. So he's creating a platform, this GoMat 6, to for them to exhibit their products, exhibit their businesses, and have a means to reach out to people out there and tell them what they're doing. And so GoMat 6 is not only, the GoMat village is not only for the warriors as well. We're also inviting external bodies, external companies to come and also exhibit their products. And then we also have another part which we're going to create a network, a platform for networking with business people that are coming all over the world. We have people from business people from Kenya, from Uganda. We have people coming from the UK as well. So we have a gala at the end of the day. In the evening, there'll be a gala. It's not just a regular gala of dancing, drink, dance and stuff. It's going to be a gala, a platform that you can meet people that matters in the society, business persons that you can exchange contact for future purpose. And also we're going to have like a red carpet and entertainment as well. We'll have artists coming into the GoMat 6 events.
So if you think that you want to meet people of substance, you want to impact your community, even if you are a young man, hoping
and
to
lastly,
become
Mr. Kom, we have an amazing opportunity for young people also who have projects, community-related projects. So we have what we call the GoMat Champion. So on that day, we'll have award giving ceremonies for these people. So the GoMat Champion now, it's a free something, like you register on the website for free. You present your projects that are related to the community. Yeah, so you win the opportunity you gain the opportunity to win the chance. We're going to have 3 winners on that day. You have a chance to win, to be sponsored, for your projects to be sponsored. So GoMat, the entire team will take the responsibility to help you get make your dream come true.
Okay. Yeah. Jisung Miranda, co-founder and GoMat warrior. Who is a GoMat warrior?
A GoMat warrior is anyone that has actually attended a GoMat event. Yeah.
You are warrior in what?
I mean, it's making a difference. A warrior, like we know, is not somebody that is act normal, but there's actually something extraordinary in you. So we call ourselves GoMat warrior because we believe that we are people who make a difference in the society. We don't do things the same like others.
Which you say it is someone who has undergone the training, and so far, how would you describe the trainings?
So far, the trainings has been transforming. I can say it has been an arena where a lot of knowledge is being gained to make exploit in different aspects, in different fields, in different professions. So I think that being in GoMat events is a place where truly you will get knowledge on things that maybe you are ignorant of. You know, like someone said, if you think that education is expensive, try ignorance. So at Goldman Network, we give you the skills, we give you the knowledge, we equip you with all that you need to be able to excel and to succeed in whatever you are doing and wherever you find yourself.
Okay, another GoMat warrior is in the studio with us is neighbor Paul Zinui. You have been to the trainings, GoMat 1 or 2 or 3?
I've been to GoMat 1, 2, 4 and 5.
Okay, and quite enriching?
Well, quite enriching. I think that's on the mind, an understanding as far as GoMat is concerned. I mean, ordinarily before GoMat, I would not sit on a panel like this because I was a very shy person. But the energy that exists in the GoMat room is something that charges you up and moves you to another level. I mean, two things are very pertinent about GoMat. You know, the trainers, the kind of way they dish out knowledge, the way they review you to yourself, it puts you in another level. And then the people that attend GoMat, because you know, it is usually said that you are your network. You understand? So the network, the kind of people that come to GoMat, when you get to relate with them, when you get to connect with them, your life automatically changes because the way they do things in the society, as she rightly said, is not ordinarily, because GoMat warriors are people who act as mad people. Because anybody who has made enormous change in the society is always considered like somebody who is mad until when they really review what they can do. So as you see, everybody who has attended GoMat is a GoMat warrior, is a mad person, and we are going around the world making a difference.
Okay, Mr. Njison Golof, let me just take this one message. Say, hello, Mr. Kun, good evening to all. The panelists just want to ask, where is this event going to take place and what are the conditions to be a participant? Takem is writing from Limbe.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Takem. The training is going to take place here in Douala, precisely at Sal Arena, Bonamusadi. It's going to be a Saturday and it's a whole day event. Now, the event is going right up to 8 p.m., but the trainings are going to take place from 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. So the training package, we have 6 trainers. Some of them are actually coming from out of Cameroon. We have some that are from Cameroon. And our focus is going to be leadership development, financial mastery. We are also going to learn tools that can help anyone to be more productive. We are also going to be looking at the audacity, how do you break the limiting factors that are holding you from making a difference, because many people have ideas, they have projects, but there's this fear that is keeping them. We are going to also be exploring that. And so for any person to partake in this event, we have broken down it into 3 so that everyone should be able to partake. We have what we call the GoMat Go, which is basically for people who just want to attend the training, visit the GoMat village, have their lunch and breakfast during the event, which is 15,000 francs. We also have what we call the GoMat Platinum for people who want to attend the training, have all the other advantages of GoMat Go, but also want to take part in the gala, which is going to be a powerful networking evening. And for those who want to have a special session with one of my mentors, one of my coach who is coming from Uganda, who is also a speaker at this event, he'll be having a special session for anybody that wants to scale his business globally. They are paying 25,000 francs, so 40,000 francs. So 40,000 francs for diamond, and then 25,000 francs for those who are going in for platinum, and 15,000 francs for those who are going in for gold.
Okay.
And for anyone to register, you can go to our website www.gomatnetwork.com/events/registration.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the panelists in the studio. I'm Prince K, writing from the Green City. The Green City should be Kumba. I would like to ask the founder of GoMat how one can be a part of this great innovation. Thank you.
Okay, to be part of this, all what you need to do is to attend our event. We are not registering members. It's not a membership-based organization. As long as you attend any of our trainers, you become part of our community. And the good thing is that when you are part of the community, you have the possibility to network with all the other change makers. You have the possibility to network with trainers. You have the possibility to get a mentor, to get a coach. because the type of association that you keep matters a lot. It determines the type of decisions you make. It determines the type of places you go to, and of course it will also determine the output. It will also determine the output of your life. So it's a community that is getting bigger and bigger, and this time around we are dreaming very big. We want to have 1,000 people attending this event, to be developed, to be transformed, because truth be told, we need transformation from this in this country, and the youths need to take the responsibility to develop themselves and be change makers, rather than being people that they just abuse, they just blame, and they complain. So we are building a set of people who are actually taking responsibility for their futures and making a difference in the community.
Okay, what should be expected from the exhibitions and the gala?
Like I earlier said, it's going to be an amazing experience at the exhibition, first of all, because we have a lot of people coming worldwide. We have companies coming from India, for that I know already, with new brands of products. And on that day, we're expecting 5,000 visitors in Cameroon. And it's going to be exciting because we have different activities on that day at the exhibition. So then now for the gala, we have two parts. We have the blue carpet. I know the mentor likes, the founder likes blue, so we had to go for blue. We have the blue carpets. You have to come over for pictures and all. Then the gala, we have networking in the evening, and we're going to share something like as usual in gala. And we have artists coming in. We have an artist coming in from the Northwest. They'll be performing that night to spice up the event. And so far, I would say it's been very challenging as compared to the other GoMarts. This is actually something new in the Anglophone community. Like we're bringing something new in Douala and amongst the Anglophone. It's not a regular event, like you said earlier. Said when you hear of networking, like I would just call it the normal way, the two people business. GoMart is not bringing you to join a particular trend of business. GoMart is not bringing you to register in a business. GoMart is not bringing you to bring two people to get money. But GoMart is bringing you in to come and register and to perfect your future, to better your life. Like in GoMart 3, we had trainings on self-confidence. We have trainings on managing your emotions. We have trainings on making a difference in the society. So when you talk about the GoMart event, the 6th edition is going to be a whole different something, because just by seeing the GoMart warriors coming up with in different ways with different businesses on the platform, it's really amazing.
Okay, how much follow-up do you do after the training for those who are going to be participating? Do you follow them up?
Okay, first of all, we already have a certain number of WhatsApp groups that everybody who attends this event is part of it. And weekly we have programs. Each day that help the members of the community to stay glued to the vision of GoMart. We also have master classes. You know, one thing with motivation is that it doesn't actually last for long. Somebody has actually said motivation lasts for 2 weeks. And another person added that motivation is just like taking a bath, which means that you need to constantly motivate yourself. So through the master classes that we have, through the programs that we have on health, through the programs that we have on goal setting weekly, we help the members of the community to stay together, to have the follow-up that they need, and they ask their question constantly. So it's a community that's just moving along together continuously. We don't have a time frame that after some time we issue out. As long as you have been part of GoMart training, you join the community and we stay together. Every other person that is added is coming in. You are just added to this community and will continue to flow.
Yes. How much networking exists amongst you people, the warriors who went through these trainings?
Yeah, with the networking, with the group, we continue to enlarge ourselves. We continue to educate ourselves. We continue to stay as a family. With the group, the different WhatsApp groups, we make sure that we don't separate ourselves. We continue to do things as a team. And once you are a member in the group, we continue to create other contacts, because your team becomes my team becomes your team. and with that we reach out to more people.
Okay, if you have questions for them and you think that you want to be part of GoMat 6 that is going to be holding out here in Douala, Cameroon's economic capital, precisely in Bonamoussadi, please feel free to write to us. I don't know why the numbers are not there. Feel free to write to us. I will get you connected to Mr. Njisong and maybe some of the warriors who are here. Are you saying that you people are working as a family? These guys have exposed you as a warrior to other opportunities out there?
Yes, certainly. As I said, I was living in my own timid corner. I did not really know what was happening in the world. I was like any normal Cameroonian that goes to school and come out and hunts a job and is waiting with monthly salary, and that was all. I thought of nothing like something is in my mind, or I could develop something like potentials and actually create more impact in my society. But due to GoMat network, I have been able to have a better version of myself, and we are collectively working together to empower ourselves, because the moment I feel weak at one point in time, there must be somebody in my network that can support me, because we are a community who come from different walks of life, and in GoMat network you happen to find somebody who is either doing something in a particular domain, and when you're stuck somewhere, there's somebody in the network to help you out.
Good evening, Mr. Liu. Delighted to watch Mr. Garloff today live after a series of programs on a different TV platform. Tumenta Roderick is writing from Bonamoussadi here. Now, how is the training going to look like? Can you come back to the dates and time and everything?
The training will actually take place on the 27th of February. That's on Saturday. And so you see, when we talk about a training lasting for over 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, a lot of people are usually afraid, will I be able to have that energy to stay till the end? That is what they normally think. But the interesting thing is that GoMat 6 is instead a training that we are not going to spend so much time on training. GoMat 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Our trainings usually start from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 p.m., which is usually 12 hours. So we call it 12 hours of transformation. They are designed in such a way that will bring in fun, will bring in a lot of energy, will bring in, activities that make learning much more fun. So it's not like you're coming for some lectures. As a matter of fact, when this program was actually designed, the people we had in mind were the youths. But from GoMat 3, we have had people who are over 60, over 70. We have doctors who are coming for this event. And not only do they come for this event, I remember in GoMat 6, when I saw some of them, I was thinking by 4 p.m. they will be tired, they will go back. But lo and behold, they were able to stay from morning till the end of the program. And they keep on coming, which means there's something they are tapping from it. There's value they are getting from GoMat. And so the trainings are going to start by 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. and by 6 p.m. we'll round up the training to prepare ourselves for the gala. We have, let me just cite some of the trainers and you may know them. We have Javni Joybet, who is an award winner and a speaker, a consultant. He has been with us since GoMat 1. We also have Maja from Limbe, a chartered accountant that will be handling finances. We have Charisma George, who is a leadership expert, who will be training on leadership. How do you lead yourself to be able to create impact in the society? Because if you cannot lead yourself, you cannot lead people. We also have coming from Nigeria, Mike Olatipo, who is the provost of the biggest online school in Africa, the Mogi Leadership School. He will be there live and direct. We also have one of my mentors, one of my coaches. In fact, the person who inspired me to create this platform, Coach Phil, he's known as Coach Phil, who is coming from Uganda, who will be training on the audacity to take action, thriving on audacity, because a lot of people have ideas, but they have that fear that is limiting them. They have projects, but they have fear that is limiting them. How do you break those fears to be able to take action or to be able to scale? That's what he's going to be handling. And of course, I'm going to be there with some nuggets to help people to be able to stay calm, to have a peace of mind while creating impact.
Okay. Yes. Any other anything to add to?
All right, so far, I just want to encourage everyone watching us out there to please contact the numbers on the screen and get yourself registered. We are promising you guys that the event is going to be one of a kind. As the event manager, I'm putting in all my efforts day in, day out to make sure that we have everything in place. And so far, it's been good, though it's tough, but it's been good. And the numbers are increasing every day. A lot of registrations going on, and so we are close to the date, and so we are here on this platform to just give you the good news that it's actually a blessing in Cameroon to have young people with such an initiative. So we want to also thank Mr. Jason Golo for the opportunity and for the wonderful initiative he's bringing up in our society. So everyone listening to watching us right now, please do your best to visit our page on Facebook and our website and get yourself registered. Thank you.
I am writing from Equatorial Guinea in Danguru. Good evening, Mr. Luke. Greetings to those in the panel. I would like to know how I can get the training. As somebody from Equatorial Guinea, can they benefit from the training?
Well, it's a premium event, so we are not going to stream it on Facebook, but part of it we are going to share on Facebook. But what he can do is he can contact us through our page or through our number. Both of them are available on WhatsApp, so that when we have online presentations, we can get them to be part of those programs.
Okay. Please, if you want to be part of the programs, the training, you can call them. Can you just give the numbers? I don't know what is it. Can you just give the numbers for registration?
Okay. The first number is 679 112339. I take it all over. 679 112339. Now then another one is 656 056 877. 656 056 877.
Okay. Please, if you did not get the numbers, just request their numbers after the program from me. I'll forward it. You had something to add?
Yes, Mr. Kum. Lastly, I would like to say that GoMat also is a platform that will help young people or business people to rebrand their businesses. So it's not only about exhibition. You can also be part of the branding part of it. Like you have some fees you pay, and you have your logo or your content being shown on the giant screen and on the backdrops, and we're going to have like roller banners. And during the Goma Village, we'll be having someone to present the Goma Village, and we have an all-round interview of those who will be coming to exhibit their products. So you have an opportunity to have a recorded video that we're passing on all our platforms that will help you expose your brand and to help you get more contacts and more clients in the future.
Okay. Somebody is asking who is qualified to take part in the training?
Okay. As I said earlier, when we started the program, the people we had in mind were just youths. But of late, we have seen people who have advanced age who are coming, and they are still tapping value. Who is actually qualified? Anybody who is hungry to grow, for self-development, for professional development. And I actually believe that the biggest room is that of self-development. So whether you're a teacher, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a professional, whether you're a Okada writer, it doesn't matter what you are doing. As long as you desire to grow, you can join us for this program.
Yes, we've used more than the time allocated for us to discuss this, but just want to tell our televiewers that Mr. Njisong Golof is going to be regular on this panel. We really want to contribute to changing Cameroon. So very shortly he's going to come back to tell us more, especially how to his money mastery keys, no?
Money mastery class.
Yes, I'm interested in that one. We want to thank you all for coming. The warriors, we hope that you continue to worry our business war, and thank you for coming.
And I don't know, the warriors used to have something to say. Say,
can we have the open shot, please?
Yes.
So
my warriors, are we ready?
Bring it on!
Are we ready?
Bring it on!
So we'll be bringing it on the 27th of February. Be part of this program. It's going to change your life. I'm inviting everyone. Thank you, Mr. Kum, for having us, and have a pleasant evening for everyone who has been following us. We have to build this nation, and it's your responsibility. It's my responsibility, and I believe we can do it by making a difference. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much to everybody who took time off to follow the program, and I also want to say thank you to you, Mr. Njisong, and to you, Edith, and to all of you who took time off to follow the program. Thank you to the production team. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.
In the beginning.